the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Rewind, that show by Smacked Raw, where RN and myself take a look back in the latest week, inside and out of the professional wrestling ring. My name is Kyle Tyson.
I am Arn Akud, the brains, the bronze, the street cred, the smartest, the sexiest, the token. Pretty much everything positive about the show is me, and Will. Sorry. Go ahead, Will.
Said with so much conviction. Yeah, speaking of Will, joining us from Bot Spots and Chair Shots, our brother from Smacked Raw, Will Gray. How are you, buddy?
I'm so excited to finally make it on this show, guys.
This is your first time, right?
It's time. Yeah. It's time for me to be on The Rewind. I think we're there. I think we're finally ready to go to the next level in our relationship.
All right.
I guess you can say things are getting kind of serious.
It's getting pretty serious.
Will, how you been, man?
I'm busy, but good. Lots of good things on the front.
Yeah, so you and I were talking last night for a little bit, dude, and you were telling me some breaking news. Any breaking news that we can go ahead and shill out here on The Rewind? Any upcoming guests that you want to announce?
Big things on the horizon for Botch Spots and Chair Shots. We have Mike Bennett this week. We have the TNA original Knockout Goldilocks next week. In August, we have Botch Spots and Chair Shots with PWA doing the Orange Ribbon Rumble, which I will plug later in the show to kind of give a little bit more details on. Lots of cool stuff happening, man. I'm really hyped.
Yeah, man. Like you were getting me excited last night. I was actually kind of when you talk about that Rumble and all the other stuff you're going to get into later on tonight. That stuff, I was getting overwhelmed. I was like, geez, man, you and Alison, you guys are in it deep. You guys are in the indie scene deep, son, man. It's so
We're
cool.
trying to be, yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, if you guys aren't familiar with the show, essentially myself, RN, and of course we bring on guests. We just like to talk pro wrestling. It can be things about like our favorite stories that are currently going on in professional wrestling. It could be news, rumors, current events, all of that fun stuff. We just like to take a moment, sit back, and just have a general conversation about professional wrestling. Nothing too much lined up. A lot of reoccurring news. I guess, if you guys want to touch on some it, a lot of drama in professional wrestling this last 2 weeks. A lot of stuff we've probably already heard a million times. Some drama with Vince primarily. Apparently, dude, he paid $12 million over the last 12 or 13 years. Across 4
10 of it
women.
was the last 2 years, wasn't it?
3, yeah, man. At least $3 million in the last couple of years. But listen, there's been a million podcasts at this point that have talked about how scummy it was and how unprofessional. That's not really the discussion I want to have with you guys. The discussion I want to have with y'all is that it for him? Is that the exit plan for Vince? As wrestling fans of probably decades, we've always wondered what it would take to get Vince away from WWE. Is this it?
No.
I don't think so.
He came out and said it, then, now, and forever, and then just walked out the ring. That pretty much told me everything I needed to hear. Maybe he may be done corporately, but as far as creative and being a part of the show and the product, no, he's not. He's not releasing the reins anytime fucking soon.
I think we'll watch him jump through hoops to get out of this. He'll figure out ways to accept lesser roles. We've already seen him step down as the CEO. He's moved on, but we'll continue to see this ladder where he'll just slowly back his way out of the company. I don't think we'll ever see him gracefully exit and just be like, this is my swan song. Vince won't be that guy. Vince will continue to work for the company in some capacity until his boots are 6 feet underground.
my thing is like, I'm still waiting to hear anything illegal or anything like.
Well, that's
smoking gun stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the first one. Like, so the Wall Street Journal is the one who broke the story.
right.
And so it's not all the NDAs and the hush money to keep his affairs under wraps. Like, that's icky, but it's not like illegal. And I can't believe I just used the word icky at 34 years old.
That's about that describes it perfectly.
Yeah.
No, that's a good way to look at it.
But the thing that everybody's dialing in on, the where the crosshairs are, is the paralegal that he is having the most recent affair with was hired at $100,000 a year, and if I recall the story correctly, she doubled her income essentially right around the time that the affair began. So that's what they're looking into. That's where, because you're no longer, the NDAs and all that money that he paid out, that was his own money. That's where there's there's nothing illegal going on.
I get it. Yeah,
can do what he wants with his money.
A lower occupation for a much higher pay. Like I get that part.
But that paralegal had essentially no like tenure, like nothing happened. She didn't get a promotion. It was literally like, I'm hired, and then conveniently around the time this affair started, she doubled her income with the company. So now that's what they're like dialing in on. That's what they're investigating, because you're now dealing with companies' money. That's where it's illegal. You got shareholders involved.
No, I get all that, but my part is like, we didn't need all the extra shit. They didn't have to throw all the dirty laundry. I know that they have to sell papers because it's the fucking Wall Street Journal, but my thing is like, I don't really care. And this is not going to be, if we went through the books of every billion-dollar corporation or any publicly traded, there's going to be NDAs and shit like that, not just for relationships, but for whistleblowing, them breaking the rules of shit that they done, all types of stuff. Like that part is like, I don't really give a shit. So let's just focus on that. I think that because they threw everything out there, the part that matters, the part that lady got fired when she didn't want to be with Vince or Johnny, whichever one it was. Those are the issues we should be focusing on. But because of all the other shit they put out about the NDAs and stuff, that's what everybody's kind of running with the bag, and we're losing sight of what we should be focusing on, is what my point is. Like, I get it. I know that's cool, but we didn't need to know about the other ones. If nothing's breached and everything's, and they're not any like sexual assault things or anything, any shit like that, it's just hush money. Like, all right, that's my bitch on the side. I got to shut her up. As long as if it's just that, who gives a shit? Stick with the illegal shit, the stuff that we actually that we should be focusing on. I think that's what always happens. This shit gets sensationalized and fucking, National Enquirer type shit. The people that are really affected always find a way to disappear or slip through the cracks.
The one thing to remember, though, RN, also is the fact that the earliest case of this happening dates back to 1983. That means Vince has been a creep longer than I've been on this earth. So when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, that's a lot of hush money that was out of his own pocket. But what exactly was he hushing? That's my question. Why did he have to spend $12 million to make sure people didn't say things?
Because he had a wife and a family and was the head of a publicly traded company.
You also understand his wife was also in politics during the time a lot of these NDAs were going on. She was getting into politics and everything. And then, having it be public
they've
knowledge.
Had an agreement. Yeah, they've had an agreement for years that he can do his own thing. But again, them having an agreement and then someone coming out and blasting out all their business and what they did. Like you said, she was running for office all those years, all the other shit. Like, I don't think it was necessarily just hush money for Vince. I think it was hush money for the family in general. You know what I'm saying? So like,
they do know this sand account they found that Vince, this initial one that was the $3 million payment that initially broke, that started all of this. They had accounts in this, just call it the sand in the budget, which was where the McMahons were funneling personal money into NDAs and stuff for the company. They had Vince, they had Steph, they had Shane, and they had Linda. So all of the McMahons had been using this same process. So it's not limited to Vince. Right now, it's just Vince in the spotlight because he was the one that got caught.
Well, he's a billionaire for a reason, man. The guy obviously knows how to make his money work without
and funnel it and not pay taxes on it all.
But
at this point, I don't give a shit. I mean, the only thing I care about is that Triple H gets some sort of power and then control the creative. That's the only thing I care about. I don't
Dude,
give a fuck about the rest of the shit, honestly.
I get like why like people initially are outraged at the story when they hear this, but it's if you are older than like goddamn, if you're older than I would say 20, you know that Vince is truly just like let's. I don't want to just blanket it with like scumbag. You know what I mean? I don't want to blanket him that, but everyone knows that this man was not some faithful husband. Like his whole tenure, like you know that was never his thing. That no one's ever even tried to paint him in that light where Vince is some type of loving family man. That's never been his thing.
If you didn't know he was a rich, creepy white dude, like I don't know what the hell you've been watching or paying attention to.
But that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point I was making, though, is we all know he's a creepy white dude. So what level of creepy is he being that he has to have $12 million worth of creepy?
Well, that's
you see my point.
Well, that's where I said, I think that has to do with the wife in politics.
Right. Yeah.
Like I really do. I think a lot of that is just don't talk about our affair because you don't need it. I wholeheartedly believe it just comes down to Linda. That's my speculation is just you
and
don't.
Even it don't even need to be that much creepy. It could be an errant text message or a dick pic, one random dick pic. Like it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? The levels of creepitude. It just matters that the shit had to be swept under the rug. And like I said, I wholeheartedly believe too. It was when they became a public traded company and Linda running for office, they had no choice but to sweep that shit under the rug. Like you said, all of them have some sort of NDA in place for shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just because you have an NDA in place doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything wrong. Sometimes it's just like you said, like we got an open arrangement, but she's still running from office. Don't fucking go to the press and tell them that I'm dating a 20-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's been happening since 1983, though. This started before Linda was in office. That's my point. Like
no, I get that. Yeah. But it's still the family too. Like you still got to protect your family. Like,
well, what's your speculation, Will?
My speculation is that we know he has a seedy past. We know that he is paid. He has settled out of court against criminal charges in the past. Like he settled in 1983 against a female referee he settled out of court and she signed an NDA for 25 years that said she could never come forward with the case. And then her NDA finally broke. Like, this is what I'm saying is that, yeah, he might be keeping it quiet for his wife and for her political career. But my thing is like when you get to that level of money and that level of creep, like I get wanting to respect, but if you're not even wearing wedding bands anymore, how much are you trying? Like how much sanctity in marriage are you protecting when neither of you wear your wedding band? Right. You see what I mean? Like, no, I get the wanting to protect the sanctity of marriage thing, but neither of them wore wedding bands anymore.
No, it's political, bro.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, like, we're not saying it's to protect the sanctity of marriage, any of that.
No.
It's to protect the image that you have to keep up being a billionaire and the head of a publicly traded company.
Do you not think that a very highly regarded Republican woman in the Northeast isn't concerned about what they think about the holy matrimony of marriage? Like that's going to be bigger than you think in the political agenda.
No, and like I said, that's why I think it's all to protect their family and their image.
Yeah.
Pretty much, man. I mean, also you got to think about it too. WWE's always existed in this little bubble that just never cracked mainstream. Like they've always been able to kind of just stealthily do whatever they want because pro wrestling is its own world. It never really crosses over to mainstream. That's why these stories are making such headway is because this is like for the first time, like these stories are breaking outside of like our circle, like our pro wrestling bubble circle. They're following up on Fox News. Dude, I found it fucking hilarious that I was watching SmackDown on Friday. And I didn't swap over to Rampage in time, and it went from like Vince's show to literally like Fox News themselves talking about the controversy, which I did kind of funny. I was like, dude, you guys just hosted this man's show, and then you're also going to put him on blast for it. But with that being said, yeah, Vince's company and everything has been able to just like avoid the main spotlight of like the mainstream media. What was the most controversial shit that was going on in the company? If you think about it, it was probably the steroid trials. I think that was like the only thing catching mainstream. A lot of the more like crazy shit. Like the now I was obviously not even born, but like the Jimmy Snuka accusation of like, you know, of that murder. I don't even think that was getting like nationwide coverage when that went on.
A lot of that wasn't even like when it happened. That was here within the last like 10 years or so. It wasn't even really that big when it actually happened. It was just like after the fact. That's what I'm saying. It's because it's some carny shit. It's always had its own little niche hole in the world that nobody gave a shit about because it's fake. It's make believe. It's a bunch of animals and monsters playing in their underwear and shit. So no one took it serious, and that's why we didn't see or hear about any of this shit. If this was, if wrestling was on the same level as like the NFL or NBA, no one would give a shit about this. It would have been just another day on ESPN where an executive got caught doing some shit. Like the only reason why it's big and it's so like eye-opening now is because wrestling's never had this. We've never had any, besides a few wrestlers dying and the Benoit shit. Mm-hmm. There's never been any real like scandals or anything that took a bunch of people down and like
that went over to mainstream. Exactly.
That went over to that where somebody would give a shit about it to report. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of is what it is. Like I said, we're in a new day and age where nothing is hidden and everything is fucking could have a microscope on it in a split second.
I like what Alison says. She says because Disney wants to hurt the company and make it worthless so they can buy it cheaper. Yeah, hey man, you might not be wrong. You got to think, like, isn't the timing really convenient too? By the way, like Triple H, the exit of Shane McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie, of course, before all this, like literally all of the main focal pillars of WWE that are, you know, focal to the mainstream. There's a lot of bigger names that are behind the scenes that don't get like, you know, the same coverage. Right around the same time, they all start, one reason or another, just conveniently dropping like flies. Like, to me,
that I'm going. Keep going.
No, I was gonna say like,
this is where I'm at with it too.
It's just weird. Like, I just find it weird. That's all.
I feel like this is them fighting back against Nick Khan.
Yeah, you think it's the Nick Khan?
No,
I love
I'm
the
serious.
Nick Khan. I love the Nick Khan fucking conspiracy, man. He's coming in cleaning house.
I don't know. I think that is what Vince brought him in to do. Like it's no secret that Vince been wanting this to be run like a sports network and like a sports franchise forever. That's the whole reason why he brought Nick Khan in.
So you look at it like this, though. He wants it to be ran like a sports franchise or an NFL team or something that size like the NFL. Then this is the first time that wrestling's had a publicly traded company that was this size and of this importance. So right. He's going to get the same. Imagine what would happen if Roger Goodell got hit with these they would have him hung on a spit tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
And no, I agree with that. And I think, like you said, this is too fucking convenient that all the people that were set up in the hierarchy to replace Vince, Nick Khan swiped them all out, said Stephanie did a shitty job, said Leonidas Ace, Johnny Ace did a shitty job. All these people he got rid of, and then guess who's all back in power now?
Johnny got dropped, right?
Yeah, well, he dropped in 2000 anyway, but
I meant most recently now.
Yeah.
Through all this.
But again, he probably left because of this. You know
I was just wondering if it like had officially happened yet.
He stepped down. Bruce Pritchard's in his job right now in the interim role.
That's right.
But again, like I said, all these people they got rid of and were like trying to discredit and like keep them away. Now they're all back. That to me, that always seemed like, to me, all of this shit with Nick Khan has always been like, to me, seemed like an internal struggle between the kids and the people that have been propped up, and then this new guy that dad hired in and fucking cleaned house on everything and changing everything. And they saw the writing on the wall that they were out.
I'd love for like a dramatized movie about Nick Khan at this point. Like just this man comes in and he just has the secret agenda. I'm going to clean house from this scummy ass company. Like the feel good, like Disney comeback story. Like just comes in.
It just felt like Succession for me from the first time. Like Khan came out,
I gotta watch that show.
Saw the changes.
I gotta watch that show. I hear it referenced every fucking day at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've always thought that this was an internal struggle. Like that's from the very beginning. And then too, like which made it personal is when they did do that to Triple H, and like, okay, he's out. You don't know when he's coming back. You replace him. They fucking replaced everybody. They literally cut out and gutted his entire
clean
structure
house,
that he's been working out for 5 years. Everyone's gone.
Black and Gold got strangled. They got choked the fuck out, man.
Every single person gutted. They gutted anybody that had any. It was like a mob hit. They like hit Triple H and anybody had anything to do with the family. They all got taken out in one fucking night. I'm like, bro, like that's. I get you have to like you're changing directions, but like, why did you need to change all those people?
Who knows, man? I mean, I think what everyone believes the budget cuts is to get ready for a sale, right? You would think that's it. Vince ain't just gonna roll over and be like, okay, it's my kid's company now. Like, here you go, Steph. You know, here you go, Shane. It's Vince is a businessman at the end of the day. You know what I mean? When he's ready to walk away from it, he wants to get that last paycheck. He wants to get that last, payday, man. You go ahead and sell it. I'm in that camp. I think that's really what it is.
I think that's all just. I think that's what they do to play themselves off against when it's time to renegotiate. Because that's the only time it ever actually jumps off is when they're reing up their deals with people. Then all these sales rumors start happening. Like that's not like you said, that's not a coincidence. Like, oh, okay, well, I guess we just sell to them, and then you don't get anything. You know what I'm saying? Because if they sell to Disney, USA, and all these stations, they're not getting no part of this, or NBC to Cock. If they sell to Disney, that's ABC. So that's everything. Anybody that has their hands in that pot, they ain't getting shit if they sell to Disney. So why would they not bring that up or float that out there that Disney's on the books trying to chase them down? You know what I'm saying? Like it's
playing devil's advocate though, RN, Disney Plus in Europe is streaming the network now though. So they do have the network streaming on an NBC property and on a Disney Plus property right now. So it is streaming overseas on Disney, but it's streaming on the States on NBC Comcast.
Overseas, but what countries are getting it overseas on Disney?
The European, as far as I know, though, European markets are getting Disney Plus has the network over there. It's all really? So it's all about what country you're in. And Alison brings up a good point in the chat. Disney also owns Fox, which is the second largest TV deal WWE's ever had behind USA. So I feel like you start looking at the big scheme of things. I think a sell makes sense, but Vince has always said he would never sell the WWE unless it was the largest sale for a incorporated business in history. Right. So you would be looking at upwards of well over the $5 billion mark as to what NFL teams, NBA teams, what they're selling for, what the UFC sold for at $3.2 million or whatever it is.
Yeah, and you got to think too. The Disney thing is
$1 billion, not million. Yeah,
right. The Disney thing is real because you got ESPN. As long as Disney holds ESPN and all that, which WWE already had a working relationship with to a certain degree, like earlier this decade or whatever. Like, there's always going to be. Just think about WWE on ESPN on Monday nights or whatever night they decide to put it on. ESPN 2.
Wrestling originated on ABC and NBC. So taking it back to ABC, putting it on ESPN. Hell, even Sunday Night Heat used to be on MTV.
Yeah,
like, let's not even forget
that, man. That was my favorite non main show. I don't know what you would really refer to it as, but
no, Sunday Heat was fire, and it used to always be going into the pay-per-view.
Exactly. Yeah. If you were too poor for the pay-per-view, that was like your one thing you got to see. Like you could preview.
When the pre-show used to be on TV too, that was the cool thing about it, because the pre-show was always on Sunday Night Heat.
Exactly.
So you would see the preliminary matches and all of that nonsense ahead of time. So
just think of fucking having WWE at Disneyland and Disneyland.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
They're also
like building... seriously, like they already got Marvel and everything else. Like, just imagine seeing it and rocking them and rides and shit at Disney. I can see it. Like, I know exactly. The Disney shit's always real to me. I know it's like the boogeyman shit or whatever, but to me, as long as they're the biggest entertainment corporation in the world, I don't think anybody's safe.
Think about how cool of a ride it would be to ride the rock bottom. Come on.
Right.
That sounds cool. That's a great name for a ride.
All of this shit, like I'm saying, Stone Cold. Yeah. Just imagine all these people, Stone Cold stunning Mickey and shit, bro.
Actually, no, that's a good one right there. What would be the best? What's the best maneuver to name a carnival ride after?
The Rock Bottom.
The Rock Bottom?
That's like the drop zone, bro. You just fucking like have the Rock's elbow going up or like hold the fucking thing and just drop it down.
Man, Could you imagine though, like before he got released, like a giant like Gravitron, but in the center of it is just this big thing. It's Cesaro, and he's doing the swing.
That's what. Yes, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Fucking giant Cesaro swinging your ass
like
around.
The fucking, like pirate ship that goes back and forth is just Triple H with the sledgehammer and shit.
Oh man, there you go. Fucking shit.
I'm telling you, the Disney shit just lines up so much for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm always on. I'm never thinking that that's not going to happen.
You also got to think, and this is me going back in my Wayback Machine because I'm the old man sitting on my porch on my lawn screaming, "Get off my lawn." Vince said in an interview in 1984 that he was the Walt Disney of pro wrestling and that he loved WWE more than anything. So he put that above Linda, above Shane, above Stephanie. Wrestling was his only true love.
I totally believe that.
Oh, yeah.
So when you look at it, this is going to be his thing. When it boils down to it more than anything, all Vince wants is money. You know what I mean? When he can go down as being the biggest individual cell in human history, he'll go, all right, guys, I'm good. I'm out.
Who's the biggest corporation that could do that?
Walt Disney.
I mean, listen to what Disney's done in the last 10 years. Marvel, fucking Star Wars, Fox. Mm-hmm. Like there's they've just been gobbling shit up.
Oh, they were mad because they couldn't use Spider-Man, so they bought part of Sony.
Yeah,
let's not forget that happened.
Sony is hanging on to Spider-Man for dear life, dude.
Yeah,
so they really are, man. Sony does not want to give up Spider-Man. Fucking talk about a missed opportunity too. That's like Blockbuster levels of errors of foresight was them opting not to buy Marvel when they had the opportunity, because they had the opportunity to buy all of Marvel properties, I think back around like 2003, and it was for something ridiculously low. I mean, my memory is shit, but I think it was
how
like
everything got shifted off to like 2 or 3 different companies ownership. Was Marvel, the comic book company, was going bankrupt and they were trying to stay afloat, so then they sold their property rights to like make movies and TVs to the different movie studios. That's how this all came about. And like it's crazy how many properties they actually own under certain titles and shit. That's why it's not so much that they want to let go, they don't want to let go of Spider-Man, they don't want to let go of the other properties and shit that are attached to Spider-Man as well. Like it's crazy the shit if you look into it, what all's mixed up and tied to the different characters and stuff.
My favorite Blockbuster fact of all time is that the CEO of Blockbuster turned down Netflix.
Yeah,
he said that mail order DVDs wasn't a thing that would catch on. And I love the fact that actually happened. That he was like, nah, man, we're good. And now we see.
Yeah. Did either of you have Netflix when it was the mail order DVD service?
Yeah.
I
date
had that
back
shit too, man.
Yeah, I remember the original stream and watch thing where you had to go online and add movies to your instant queue from the website and stuff. Like, I'm an OG with Netflix. Yeah,
but I remember getting the DVDs in the fucking mail, man. I thought that was the coolest damn thing.
It would be shit because you'd be like looking for a DVD, or like you'd be on Netflix and it'd be like only DVD only. So then you had to go fucking order the DVD on it and stuff. Like when it first became like a streaming service, it was like all the good shit was still in DVD and you had to order. It wasn't much on the actual streaming service.
Oh man. All right, dude. Let's shift over to SummerSlam, y'all. Where's your hype levels for SummerSlam, you guys?
It's
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
How much is that is the show, and how much is that because you're going to be there live?
Right. 5 and 5.
All of it. 1,000%. If I wasn't going to be live, it would just be another WWE premium live event.
Premium live event.
I feel like I got to say it like that. But I feel like if I wasn't going to be there, it would just be another one. It would just be another Brock Roman. It would just be another, like insert Bianca versus somebody.
It fucking feels like WrestleMania at SummerSlam.
It does. I think we should expect something big. I'm excited because WWE's pulling out all the stops, because historically SummerSlam's always been kind of Vince's victory lap. Yeah. It's always the big pay-per-view he can do during the summer when it's a dead time. But this year he can't do that. He can't have a victory lap because AEW's been nipping at his heels the whole time. Like as far as content and stuff, maybe not viewership, but that's not neither here nor there. I'm speaking just purely on a content. But with them nipping at his heels, he knows he has to do something big. Something big has to happen at SummerSlam because we can't have 8 more months leading up till next WrestleMania of Roman smashing and dashing everybody on the roster. Like something big has to happen soon, or like LA looks real good.
Did you hear one of the latest rumors? It looks like because you guys probably already saw this because we're all on Twitter like way too much. Booker T returned to wrestling the other night at Reality of Wrestling, and one of the rumors is to get him ready for like a spot or potentially a match at SummerSlam.
Let's just cut this out of the podcast when we go to editing.
Come on, Aaron, you ain't excited to see Booker T back in the ring?
Man, fuck Booker T.
Come on, Aaron. What's wrong with Booker T, bro? Why you got
Booker
this
T
endeavor, man? And Booker T is dude. He's King Booker.
He's Jeffrey off of Django, man. That's who Booker T is to me. That's all I see when I'm like
Why?
He is ass. He goes out of his way to attack people of color because he's jealous because he didn't get to their heights that they got. Every single time a person of color says something, here comes Booker T's the first fucking person to say shit about them and talk them down and say that they don't know what they're talking about. 2, I don't know what Shucky Ducky and Jive Turkey and all that shit is. This ain't fucking Dolomite. It ain't the 70s,
as a white person, relax. I fucking love Shucky Ducky. Quack, quack.
Yeah, because you don't, but do you know what it means?
Oh, hell no. Who cares, man?
No one does, bro. No one does. I'm black and I don't know. I literally need a fucking translation book when I watch Booker T. Like, one time you got to fucking. I'm like, what the fuck
He's trying to create catchphrases, bro. Dude,
he is
are you surprised that Are you surprised this man has corny shit? When he walked around, he's King Booker as long as he did, man. Come on, man. Let him be corny.
Dude, it ain't about him being corny. He's a fucking prick to me. I'm sorry. Like, I think he goes out of his way to be that one black wrestler. Think about the shit with Sasha, Naomi. Anytime a person of color tries to stand up for themselves or speak out on something, here comes fucking Jeffrey. Who is that nigga on that mare? Your daddy be turning in his grave right now, letting them sleep on them sheets. Every single time, here he comes. I'm done with Booker T.
I was just going to say something about being tired of like them bringing back old people to wrestle, but RN, you pretty much got this covered, bro. I'm going to let you have this one.
I don't want to touch this shit. Isn't Booker T part of some like black mafia with like Mark Henry and shit? All these old time black wrestlers that hold like, I guess their own type of wrestling court. Because wasn't Mark Henry talking about Leo Rush at one point back in the day? Was like, I got guys that can take care of Leo, something like that.
Mark Henry's to the same extent. He's. I look at him like I look at Booker T, but just to a lesser extent. And Leo Rush, I mean, anybody can talk shit about Leo Rush. Leo Rush, he fucking sucks. I mean, how many times he retired? 6 times? 6 times in 9 months, bro. Like Leo Rush, I lump him in with all those guys.
I would like to see
Booker T, all of them.
I would like to see Leo Rush versus Marco Stunt in a death match.
I'd watch that.
I think that would be like, I think that would be absolutely terrible, but for some reason I feel like I would want to watch it because
the worst part is Leo Rush is awesome in the ring, but he's a prick outside the ring. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can't get down with him either. I throw them all in the same bucket.
He is a former cruiserweight champion. He did wear the gold for a little while. He was also don't forget how he was a good mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley when he was the manager for Lashley.
You enjoyed that?
With the man of the hour?
I definitely enjoyed
Wasn't that the gimmick then? Like, that was cool. Like, he could have, with the right tutelage, I think Leo Rush could be, I'm not saying an MVP, but somebody like MVP with a little bit of, like, getting under somebody's, like, learning tree. Learn from a Heyman, learn from an MVP.
He could be cooler than MVP, too, because he is cooler. And he is more hip than MVP, because that's my one complaint with MVP is, like, he's still, like, 1990s NWA shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love him, and like he is that guy, but it's like some of his stuff is outdated too, you know what I'm saying? But he's just so dope that we kind of give him a pass for it. But like even that rap disc that he did, tell me that it sound like some straight out of Compton shit. Like,
bro, like that rap brought me back to like 2004, son. Like I was right there with MVP.
That's
man.
what I'm saying. Like he's like he's just so good because he is so good. But like, let's be honest, he's corny as shit too.
I was like, dude,
he doesn't fit in.
There's nobody under like 28 years old that likes
Hell
this
no.
rap. But I'm like, dude, I fucking loved it, man.
Yeah,
God
we
damn
love it
I
because
loved
we're
it.
40 years old. That's what I'm saying. We're all 40. That's why we love
Hey,
it.
bitch, I'm not even 35 yet. Okay.
Well, you're 35. You may not be that age, but in demeanor and how you act,
go
you're an
fuck
old
yourself,
man like the rest
RN.
of
You
us.
habitual line cutter. All right, listen.
Yes, I am a line cutter.
SummerSlam though. Hey man, what do y'all think about Roman's no pun intended here, but Roman's reign so far? Where y'all at with it in its current status?
All right, you want to go first? You want me to go
go ahead.
first? I think we're looking at a perspective where we have one of two ways to go with it. Me personally, I'm getting a little tired, but I think you have to do one of two things with the bloodline. You're either going to need to figure out some way, something new to revamp it, bring in somebody new that can challenge Roman for the next little bit to keep us fresh until WrestleMania. Give us somebody that will make it worth our while until Cody gets back, because there's nobody that you can drop the belt to now that would not completely wash away the last 2.5 year reign Roman's had. So you need to start building a good story now. I don't care who it is, make it with somebody who can build a story for the next 6 months or so until Cody and Seth and everything builds for next WrestleMania. But right now, there's no other option. Start building somebody against Roman that doesn't have to take the belt from him, but can tell a good story. Because I think that's what they need most, is because I feel like everybody's getting bored watching him do the same 5 moves every week.
Well, I gotta. It's not even every week anymore. That's the thing.
Not even every week anymore.
Now it's literally like one, maybe two SmackDowns a month at this point.
I think that was a smart thing too, because it was, like he says, it was getting kind of stale seeing the same thing every fucking week, and nobody. I think him not being on TV is going to work in their favor in the long run. But to me, I don't think it's necessary even just somebody that could beat Roman. I think they need a faction. I think they need to do some, like, I don't know, kind of like with WCW when NWO was in charge, when all the guys that they were getting their ass kicked by, they all just kind of banded together. Like, I think they need to make them a faction to go against them, especially if Roman's not going to be there. Give the actual bloodline, add a couple more members to the bloodline, like get Naomi in there whenever she comes back, and maybe a heater or just another like secondary guy like Buddy Murphy was for Seth. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else to kind of like pick up that spot with Roman being gone.
You know what was a great faction that could have taken him head on? Fucking Hurt Business, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The goddamn Hurt Business.
Set up perfectly for them.
One of the biggest goddamn travesties in modern wrestling was just only using the Hurt Business, which, by the way, thank you, Hurt Business, for getting us through the pandemic era. One of the highlights of that god awful era of professional wrestling. But then just no follow through, man. No follow through. No major factions to feud with. Who'd they feud with? They feuded with Retribution. They feuded with like Andrade, and fucking and Angel Garza and shit.
Right.
God damn, dude. They were on. I mean, you literally called them in, like they were hired at one point to take out Retribution. Like that's how big that, like, in kayfabe they were looked at as like, right. Dude, you guys are some smoking guns. Go take care of business. They fucking would have been perfect adversaries against the Bloodline. You got
just imagine. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna
not even just the Lashley Reigns, even MVP versus fucking Paul.
MVP versus Paul just on the fucking microphone, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was looking for more than fucking anything. Like, just having them.
Just get them on the microphone, man.
Right. You didn't even have to have the guys out there. You send them two out to fucking argue with each other for a segment every week or every other week. Like, it was just, like, it was literally perfectly set up for it to be something big. And it was like, to me, like, it's the biggest thing because what the fuck is this smiling Lashley shit, bro? Like, it's, wow.
You love some smiling Lashley, bro. What's wrong, dude? He smiles like twice on his entrance and gives out just a couple high fives.
No, man.
The man's like the same in the ring.
Like the offbeat trying to do the like fist bump thing to the dent, and like it's just like the kissing babies and stuff. Like, come here, little white man.
He ain't kissing no babies. He just it's a couple high fives, man.
It's so lame, bro. And he's terrible on the mic. Like, we all know that. We love Lashley. He's a main event player. He's a top star.
He's passable,
he is garbage.
Bro. Dude, he's passable.
Yeah, no, he's passable as a heel because you don't have to. All he has to do is like, I'm gonna whoop your ass, and that's it. But like, as a babyface, that come on, man, that 4th of July promo, that shit was that was natty level garbage, bro.
Oh shit!
And now you know I never talk about Lashley like that. I was served in the military too. Yeah, like come on, bro, get the fuck out of here. Bro.
Oh man, I think I missed that promo. I think I missed that one.
Oh, it was terrible. It was literally he was skipping and shit. Like he didn't know what he was saying.
He said he was skipping and shit. Oh fuck, man. Who y'all thinking gonna take on the? Okay, so you say you want a faction to take on the Bloodline. Who y'all thinking?
It's not gonna happen. So,
man,
I think we're gonna get this. I think we're gonna get a wasted cash in by Theory.
Nah, dude, they ain't gonna waste Theory's cash in. He might lose the briefcase to somebody.
Well, that's the same thing. That's still a waste to me. Like,
yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, they did that with The Miz a few years ago with Otis, where they changed the briefcase, and then they did it once before where they've changed the briefcase.
They did it with Cena and Corbin.
So it wouldn't be out of the question to see somebody lose the briefcase. I don't think they're going to give it to Theory. He's too old to be the youngest youngest heavyweight champion, so he won't get that record. So if he's not ready yet, don't put it on him the same way they did Orton, where they put it on him, then have to take it away in 30 days because he's not ready for the belt.
I think he's going to try and cash in at SummerSlam and get annihilated.
Oh man. Well, what? Because I don't. Damn, dude, I'm really bummed because it really does not that WWE ever indicated they were going to do this, but so it's my own fucking fault. But I'm really getting bummed out that it doesn't look like we're getting Cena and Theory at SummerSlam.
And I thought that was the whole reason why they took the belt off of him. Because remember, I said that I called that he was going to lose the belt to Lashley because Lashley's set up as their number one. Well, he's their number one heel face now, so I knew that they were going to give him the strap so he could be the face of the show, starting off the shows. You give Theory the Money in the Bank, and then he goes on to SummerSlam versus Cena. You can put that on the line or whatever, you know what I'm saying, work it out however way you need to, and then move on from there with Theory. But
here's a crazy fantasy booking question. Would you be okay with Cena beating Austin Theory for the Money in the Bank? And Cena toting around that briefcase?
I would, because he'd be gone, and whenever he did decide to cash it in, I mean, we know they blow it and fucking advertise it 6 weeks in advance, but it would be a surprise if he had it because you wouldn't really know when he was coming back to cash it in.
Well, if you put it like this, and Cena wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, theoretically, him being on a part-time schedule makes him that perfect, like, always behind Roman's shoulder kind of character, because you don't know when or where he's going to show up. Exactly. So the possibility of it could give you whatever you want. I just hope it's not Austin Theory, guys. I just really hope it's not.
So what is this? Because I see people split down the middle. Will I have people like myself? I'm in the camp that I think Austin Theory is great because I love Austin Theory. I think it's what do we always ask for? We want a fresh young face, somebody that they can build up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so like with those two things, I'm like, cool, you know, because every week we're asking for somebody like let's get somebody new, somebody that's not been shoved down our throats. So what is it about Theory that's driving you like that's just not working?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, man. What the fuck? Why would I ask you? Just answer the question.
I think there's a couple reasons why Theory's not ready to be the guy. Number one is age. If you look at where he came from, he did do some work on the indies. He came through with some guys. He did Rev Pro and some of that stuff. But when it boils down to it, he's still green in a lot of aspects. When you look at where Randy Orton was, Randy Orton came in as a third-generation star, having been in OVW, being groomed by Pritchard and Cornette when they were at OVW. So they had two of the greatest wrestling minds of that generation grooming him to get ready. Then he broke through and everything that went into it, okay? Then you look at Theory, who did a little bit of indies and then went into the Performance Center. Like, he's just not there yet. If you put the world,
my point is, what specifically is lacking?
My point is, if Randy Orton wasn't ready at 24 years old with his pedigree and his background, and as good as Randy Orton was, Austin Theory isn't as good as Randy Orton was at 24 years old.
But and I think that you're completely blind and not really paying attention to what's happening here. And the reason why Randy Orton wasn't ready is because he was doing drinking and doing drugs and not doing the right shit to be the world champion at the time behind the scenes. Had nothing to do with his character or his experience or anything like that as far as ring work. Austin Theory's indie run, I don't think you're giving that enough credit or credence either. He was the WXW champ and the Evolve champ for a very long time and went against a lot of your favorite guys right now that are top guys in the business right now that he did pretty long programs with, from Riddle, Keith Lee, all these guys. He did programs with them and came out on top and really shit on all of them on the mic. If I'm being 100% honest, made all of them look like rookies on the mic when he was 20-something years old. He's ready. We are just so used to WWE just shitting shit out and fast tracking everybody that we don't give them credit for what they've done or what they can do because they get boxed into this WWE style. We have not seen the real Austin Theory yet. We have not seen what he's capable of. I've been saying, how long have I been saying this to y'all, Kyle?
Yeah,
about what he is on the mic and everything. Like, we haven't seen it yet. He's definitely ready. It's just, are they going to let the handcuffs off a little bit and let him show what he can do for real? Or is it going to be, like you said, just in this box?
That's what I was going to say. Like, if there's anything lacking, I don't think it's talent. I think that they don't have like a well-established character for him outside of, I take selfies. You know what I mean? Like that's
so if you draft a quarterback in the second round, there's a risk that he has to start every game his rookie year, but there's also a good chance you can put him behind somebody that can teach him and develop him. So in a year or two, he won't be a bust. Like, this is my point with Theory. Like, he's not, you take away, okay, he's a WWE guy now. He's in WWE. He's got to be a WWE guy. Let him have a couple successful years being a mid-card champion, being a guy on the road, living the life of what it means to be on the biggest stage of all.
Will, can I ask you for a more direct,
that's not everybody's path.
But I mean, if I could ask you, Will, what directly needs to be improved? Like, all you're saying is he just needs to be in the company longer. But I mean, do you think it's his promo skills? Do you think it's his in-ring ability? What is it specifically in your eyes that's lacking about him?
Experience.
So that's my thing. Is that experience is what? That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Because if that's the case, like your quarterback analogy, look at Joe Burrow.
Brock Lesnar was in it.
No. But Joe Burrow was also he was also a first-round draft pick.
Tom Brady, was in his sophomore year in the NFL. When he started for the Pats and won his first Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
He was also a 7th round draft pick. And if you look at the draft in 01, Kyle, I don't care who the fuck you were. Nobody knew who Tom Brady was in 01.
Then that's an argument. You're making an argument for Theory right now.
Exactly.
That's an argument for Theory. That's the thing.
My point is, Theory he's not a first round draft pick material, but he's also not 7th round either. He's somewhere in between.
What makes him what's dropping him down? You're just saying he needs time.
He hasn't shown anything since he's been on the biggest stage of them all. He hasn't shown that he can perform at the biggest stage for more than 6 months at a time.
Well, clearly they think he has shown it, because look at the push he's got in the last 8 months and who they put him with McMahon and not anyone, not Riddle or not any of these other guys.
If Paul Heyman, who is one of the best minds in the business, says Austin Theory is going to be great but isn't ready yet, I don't see why there's any argument. That's my point. If Paul Heyman is one of the greatest minds in the business, he's not ready yet.
The argument is, this is my thing why I hate experience and potential arguments. How the fuck do you get experience, Will, if you don't do anything?
When I wanted to be a chef,
how can he get experience being a champ if he doesn't get a shot at being the champ? I hate the potential and experience argument. You get experience and you realize your potential when you do the thing you're supposed to do. When you're
his first title reign in WWE was his U.S. title match. When he got the U.S. title, he didn't hold gold in NXT. He didn't hold gold in any house shows in the Performance Center. His first title reign on the biggest show of them all was one of the most prestigious titles in the business. Give it to him for more than 90 days. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't disagree with any of that. I'm literally I'm agreeing with you up to a certain extent.
If he's
I'm
not
saying
ready
the
to hold
experience
your
argument-
mid-card title for more than 90 days, he's not ready to hold your championship.
What if that's not why he's not holding it? What if it's the reason why we took it off of you is we have bigger plans for you? Not that it wasn't you're not
And
ready
how is
for
the Money in
this.
the Bank not a mid card title? Like it's probably
The
number one
money in the
mid-card
bank,
title.
the Money in the Bank has to be looked at like a title. It is a prominent spot on television every
more
week,
prominent than the
sometimes
secondary
multiple
title.
times a week. Also, you got to think about it at house shows. Like the Money in the Bank title, the Money in the Bank has to be considered one of the main titles. Like it has to be because they don't just put it on anybody, you know. And if they do, they quickly take it away from them. You know, granted, you can say it was on Otis and it was on. They did have big plans for Mr. Kennedy, but also, you know, like Damian Sandow and stuff. So, but the bulk of everybody that's held Money in the Bank have gone on to do bigger and better things.
That's my argument, like against his experience. Or he's saying to me, I look at the Money in the Bank title as their number one mid card title. Like it gets, like you said, it has more credibility.
It takes you
than
straight to the world title.
Right.
You could fight for the Intercontinental belt on and off all you want, and you know what it might lead you to? It might lead you to some tag titles. You could do the same thing with that US title. No mid card title outside of Money in the Bank is a guaranteed shot or guaranteed association with the world title. Like that is the next step, unless they get cold feet like they did most recently with Otis. But I do not think Austin Theory is Otis. Like not for a second.
That's my argument, is that this is them preparing him to put the rocket on him to get him that experience that you're talking about. Because think about CM Punk, Edge, Ziggler, like all these guys that we look at, the Money in the Bank was their jump off point to being who they are.
Get him here and then let him go for another year and then give him the belt. So give him another year of experience and then give him the belt. So we just, in the last 20 minutes, just kind of agreed that that's what needs to happen.
I was saying that to you the whole time that I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, and also, and there you go. So you just contradicted yourself because you started this with saying I don't like him with that Money in the Bank, and now you're finishing it agreeing that Money in the Bank is what's giving him the experience that you want him to have. Thank you, Will. Thank you for agreeing with us. We appreciate that, man.
It took us a while to run the race, but we finished.
That's the most fucked up, twisted way ever, Kyle. To twist what I just said.
We make it all about us, even though our guests are part of us. We still have to make it about us.
Oh man, I'm so happy to be fighting on my show again. I fucking love it, dude.
This is what we needed.
Yes,
we needed this.
We need you, Will. We need you. Yo, really quick. Something else that was brought to my attention recently I hadn't really thought about. Going back to Roman Reigns initially, is Roman Reigns, the title reign. I saw an argument for this, and I'm having a hard time now disagreeing with it, but it feels like his reign is only helping himself at this point. Not that Roman's being selfish, but just the way that they're doing it now seems to feel like it's literally only benefiting Roman Reigns. And because the storytelling and everything has become kind of lackluster, and if you look at, they ran down all of his title contenders over the last several years now. If you look at everybody that's vied for the title and where they are now, nobody has really been elevated, and several people have actually been released, including Cesaro and Daniel Bryan.
That's what I was saying about this. To me, what I thought that they would do for this, like we said, we talked about it. You elevate the Intercontinental title, you elevate the US title, you put your top guys on each show and those belts, so you still have a champion leading off your show and every week, and you elevate people through that. And they just they've completely dropped the ball on it. Like nothing's changed. They're still going status quo, like Roman is there, and you don't have a world title on either one of your shows. Like to me, and I know a lot of it is Cody being hurt too.
Yeah.
And that kind of threw a monkey wrench in a lot of shit they probably had planned for the summer, but still it's like, no one and then everybody's complaining about Theory. Like Theory's the only thing they're doing good out of all this. We're getting a young star that they're gradually bringing along, and they haven't just hot shot and threw in our fucking face. Like that's the only good thing to come out of this year to me is how they've done Theory. So like we know they can do it, but why are they only doing it for one person? Like you have plenty of fucking stars you can throw behind Dominic, Gulak's weird. Like, there's plenty of dudes if
Push
you really took
Drew
the time.
Gulak. We say it every show at this point. Push Drew
Push
Gulak.
Drew Gulak.
God damn it.
Give that man a mic. Like, let him do some real heel work. He is a terrible fucking person. If you let him be the real heel, he should be and not let him do PowerPoints. There's, like I said, there's so many people that they could give that same treatment to. They just haven't. Like, and it does. I don't understand that. Like,
Will, do you think anyone's benefited from Roman outside of himself, even the company WWE?
No.
Ah, damn it, man. See.
The thing is to remember, though, at this point in Roman's reign, ironically, as we go back, you don't think this is also me going, I'm a little bit tired of it. But then, as I said, don't drop the belt to somebody. You'll cheapen his title reign, blah blah blah. But if you look at the fact that nobody thinks less of Hogan, nobody thinks less of Backlund, nobody thinks less of Morales, who all had 1,000-day reigns,
right.
So if you do drop the belt and you do it right and you do it clean and you make it look right, and then Roman disappears for a few months and you don't have to worry about the deteriorating of the head of the table if he just loses and then he's just gone out of the picture,
right.
Like you can do it right. But at this point, no, there's nothing, nobody's gaining anything out of this except for Roman.
I was about to say, so, but even with the Usos, they're like, so they when I say improve, I also mean like, have they moved up in the card or have they had some good character development? Now you can make an argument for Jey Uso. Jey, that was, I think, in my opinion, that was like the last compelling story that Roman had for that title, like story-wise. I'm not saying that was the last interesting match. Cesaro was interesting. Daniel Bryan was interesting. Hell, even Brock Lesnar is interesting when you look at it, from just a their big name standpoint. But like story-wise, Jey, the stuff between Roman and Jey was beautiful. That was like the peak of the storytelling. But once it started becoming about Roman's, I hate to say it, we're just going to keep saying Roman's reign, and I fucking don't like that. But once it was more or less about the reign, Jey and Jimmy just slipped into, just your regular successful tag team, but tag team. Like, what separates Jey from Jimmy at this point? And what about Jimmy when he came back and he tried to talk Jey out of being Roman's lackey? What about the character development on Jimmy? It literally, even though it's been a minute, the video I watched, it even highlighted, it literally was just one backstage promo between Roman and Jimmy that just got Jimmy to fall in line, and then it was done. And now they're just the tag team. And I think that's where the disconnect is coming from, is like, we don't have a compelling story, and then we don't have really anybody elevated. I mean, you had Drew McIntyre, but he didn't really get elevated. He was already at a high level and then just kind of stuck there. But damn, man, because we're sitting here going like, yeah, Roman's reign is kind of like running, just spinning its wheels. But then we're like, okay, cool, who's taking the belt off him? And then no one's like, no one can really take the belt yet. Like, we can't really take the belt off of him yet. So
they backed themselves in this corner. Yeah.
What about all the talk possibly splitting up the Street Profits, Montez Ford on a singles run? We got to see more development on that, Allison. We can fantasy book it. We can sit here and say like all the potential in the world, but we gotta see WWE make some moves before because that, in a bubble, come on, that'd be fantastic. I don't know what Angelo would do. I'd hate to think Angelo would just become the new Tucker, but yeah, Montez Ford. I mean, yeah, he has all the potential in the world. Like, absolutely.
I think that would be a good jump off point for a new faction. The Street Profits, they just add to it.
Alison was saying not. I'm sorry, RN. Alison wasn't suggesting him to take the title off Roman. She was just like, it's something else to talk about, just a new topic of discussion.
Oh no! Either way, I mean, either him taking Roman or not. Like, I feel like the Street Profits, I think they propped them up like the New Day. Like, why not add to it and build off that and build them up, maybe to take on the Bloodline? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're already fighting them now. Add some people to them. Let Montez be the front face of it. Maybe give Angelo another partner or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
And put Bianca with him. Like, make it a real thing. Like, and I think Naomi needs to join the bloodline too. Like, she's been faltering and kind of ass as usual. Like, she can't ever she's always just missing that little thing to make her like catch on. Like, and I think maybe a good heel turn and teaming her up with the Usos and shit, I think that will be what she needs.
Yeah.
Naomi and the Usos versus Profits and Bianca, that's fucking money to me.
Yeah, there's rumors of falling out between them. I've seen little bits here and there, like YouTube thumbnails, like Angela Dawkins tired of people talking about them splitting up.
Right.
My main issue about that is like they're not doing any character development on screen with that. They're doing the opposite of good storytelling, because they're telling and not showing. They're saying there's dissension between them, but then when you watch a match with them, they're just the tag team. Like, you know, if you were to mute your commentary, there would be no indication that there's any dissension between the Street Profits. Where's Montez Ford's ceiling at, Will?
I think Montez Ford could be a world champion. My biggest thing is looking at it from the perspective from Dawkins, though. I don't think Dawkins is more of a Tucker. I think Dawkins is more of a Butch Reed in this situation, because when Butch Reed and Ron Simmons were tag team partners, Ron Simmons got an astronomical push when Doom broke up and became the first African-American world champion. Not to say that can't be Montez now, but my point is that you had two exceptionally great workers that one got the push over the other, but there was no Jannetty in that situation really to speak of. And this could be one of those if it's booked right. Dawkins could still be a stellar mid-card singles competitor.
Dawkins never going to be taken serious with the way he dresses and how he comes to the ring. I mean, that's just me and where I'm at with that. Like the baggy shorts and look like he's about to go play a pickup game. Like, he's not, to me, no one takes him serious as a wrestler. He's always going to be, I guess, like an
dude who
entertainer
wears
and a
basketball
Jannetty.
shorts. Yeah.
And Will, not to try to like cut your knees out from under you with that take, but I'm gonna tell you right now, as somebody that's not like a wrestling historian, I'm very well versed in who Ron Simmons is. I've got no fucking clue who Butch Reed is. I've got no idea. Like,
you don't watch wrestling prior to 1996, Kyle.
But with that being said, one of the two men had a lot of staying power, and I don't know who the other guy is. You know what I mean? But you're right. No, Jannetty was dropped instantly. Like, and same thing with Tucker. So I get what you're saying. Like Dawkins might stick around a little bit longer, but
well, Dawkins been around longer than half the people we see on TV. We keep forgetting that he's been in the Performance Center or NXT from the.
That's true, because they didn't come into the company as a tag team, right?
No. Dawkins was jobbing out to a few people before him, and they hooked up and became a tag team. Because remember, he wore the wrestling singlet with the two headbands. That made no damn sense.
Nah, see, I was introduced to him as the Street Profits. I never saw Dawkins in a single run. I wasn't watching NXT.
Shit, I want to say he was there maybe 2 or 3 years before him, and before they became the Street Profits.
Shit, man.
Just to clarify too, Butch Reed was the heir apparent to take over for Junkyard Dog, who was one of the biggest African-American baby faces in the territories.
What happened to him?
That out there.
No. I appreciate the knowledge, man. What happened to him?
He was just one of those guys. Ron Simmons got the push. You know, he was huge in the territories. And then when Doom broke up in WCW, he got washed in the mid card.
Just washed.
But yeah, but I feel like there are guys that you're right.
I'm not trying to. It wasn't about me being right, man. I feel bad now. I just wanted to say, like, I feel is like, how about this? Dawkins, mid card title holder.
Absolutely, it could be. Yeah.
I think he's got world title potential if he goes a little bit. His character, his gear, everything for real.
You know what?
I think because if you really think about it, he's the one that's doing all the mic work. Like, Ford just comes on and like screams some shit and does their catchphrase, but like that person that's actually doing the talking, if you really pay attention to their promos, it's Dawkins.
It really is Angela Dawkins, ain't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he never gets enough credit for what he does. Like, yeah, we know that Montez Ford has that it shit, whatever that is. It's him, but like, we don't know what he really is on the mic because he doesn't do the promos. He just comes in, screams and yells, does an Ultimate Warrior thing, and says Street Profits up, we want the smoke, but the actual meat and potatoes of every fucking program is Dawkins.
You know, you're right. You're right. And you know what? Also, thinking about this, I do have to take a step back because I also have put my foot in my mouth so many times because I was the first one to say that I didn't see the potential in Bianca Belair and I didn't see it in Montez Ford. And they've turned into like two of my favorite people in professional wrestling. So you know what? Yeah, maybe I just don't see it yet. But you guys, you're absolutely right. He is the one cutting all the promos. Yes. And he is like the foundation of all of that. I'll give you that one. Ford will be pushed because they want to keep Bianca happy. That's a take. Maybe that is actually kind of what WWE does nowadays. They really do look out for couples, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. The main couples that they're looking after are all top flight fucking talent. It's not like they're like just gifted their spots. I mean, Becky Lynch was the most popular wrestler in the fucking game for about 2 years, and Seth is Seth. So I mean, I wouldn't go out on that limb.
I got you now. Shit, man. All right, dude. We've got our hour in here. Raw's on the air. Gonna go catch Raw before we do take off for tonight. You guys, Will, let us know what you got going up, man.
Make sure to follow Botch Spots and Chair Shots anywhere you do anything on the internet. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, unsubscribe, and subscribe again. Leave a comment telling me how great I am or how terrible I sound. Either way, it helps the algorithm. Remember to follow the boss bitch over at Boss Spots and Chair Shots. Just a Girl 918. That is Alison. This is where I would normally plug you guys, but I'll let y'all do it now.
Well, you said you had an event and stuff coming up that you were going to talk about more.
Oh yeah,
I do. Before we got off, I wanted to talk about all your shit you got going on, man.
August 26th, we have the Orange Ribbon Rumble. I would mention it previously before, but what we're doing is we're pairing up with PWA to do a benefit show for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of America. 100% of the gate is going to LLS treatments. So it's all going to a good cause. We're doing a silent auction. We're doing door prizes. We're doing raffles. Like it's a whole thing from top to bottom. My barbecue company is catering and doing concession stand work. We've got good stars being booked. We're going to start dropping the card next week, and we're going to drop a little bit at a time leading up to it. Before the show, we're doing 3 weeks of live broadcasts from the PWA venue to get ready for the live show, to get everybody up to speed with who's doing what. Like, so there's tons of stuff coming.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, let's slow down a bit for people like me. You are not only a guy who's talking about professional wrestling. You're putting on an actual show.
Yeah.
You are helping create an indie show. This is fucking badass. Botch Spots and Chair Shots have their fingers in the indie world as far as now producing wrestling shows.
Correct. We've got this one. We've also got Bacon's Barbecues and Body Slams in the work, which is a bacon and barbecue festival. We're doing a bacon and barbecue festival, and we're booking a show for that one as well. That one will probably end up being in September as of right now, but we have 2 tentative shows on the books. The first independent partnerships with Botch Spots and Chair Shots promoting wrestling shows. Look, Ma, I made it.
Dude, let's fucking go, man. Yeah, you guys, listen, we're going to be reaching out soon too. Will broke this news to me last night, and RN, if you had been on the call.
Sorry.
But you guys, we're going to be reaching out to you guys later on. Listen, continue to watch the rewind, continue to watch Bot Spots and Chair Shots. We definitely need your help fundraising the event. So in the upcoming shows, we will let you know where you can help donate the proceeds. Once again, Will, you said all the proceeds are going to
the LLS, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of America. The way it'll work is after the show is done and all the silent auctions and everything is done, we're going to make one big lump sum donation from Botch Spots and Chair Shots to LLS once everything is done and accounted for. LLS is important because Roman Reigns and I have the same type of cancer.
Yeah, man. So no, this is great, man. This is fantastic because we get
shoot me the info. I think I'm gonna have to make a personal appearance for that show.
Okay, I'll shoot
yeah.
you guys over some stuff, and we'll make sure everybody knows where it's at for sure. Especially people within driving distance from the crew. Like everybody that's within driving distance, we'll shack enough people up on couches.
Yeah, we were talking last night, man, and yeah, me and Jess, we're gonna try. We're working it out right now, but we're gonna try and make it there. So yeah, it's gonna be fantastic, dude. This is fucking cool, man, because we've talked wrestling a lot, and in the past we have sponsored some wrestling events that took place and everything, but it's so cool now to be affiliated. Now, obviously, the bulk 99% of all of this workload has nothing to do with me and RN, but no. Will and Alison, and it's cool that we can that you guys are doing this, man, and then we have a chance to help out with it, dude. This is fucking awesome, bro.
I appreciate that. It's cool. And nothing else. It's just going to be a lot of fun to be able to hang out and see a good wrestling show. I'm really excited once we can start dropping some of the guys we have booked. It's not just the PWA guys. Like, we're booking and bringing in guys from out of town. So we've got champions from other territories. We've got guys you've seen on some of the AEW dark kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, It's not just going to be a bunch of indie names you've never heard of. Not that the indie guys at PWA aren't good, but we're bringing in outside talent too for the card. So it's not just.
I'm gonna do my best to be there in person.
If I could make a suggestion, Ping Pong Man. I saw this guy recently, and he was fantastic. All right, he hit ping pong balls to us. My son caught one. All right, I'm a fan for life now. All right, so I'm gonna give you his Twitter handle. Man. Yes, Ping Pong Man. He was dope as shit. But no, Will, that's fucking cool, man. I'll give like a minor plug to our shit, but Will's stuff deserves the bulk of your attention, folks. Right. Will and Alison too. But as far as the rewind goes, man, catch us Sundays normally. I say Sundays, but we're always shooting on Monday apparently. Sundays 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/SmackedRaw. You can help support us on Patreon. We appreciate all our patrons. You guys will help support the show. And then you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SmackedRaw podcast. And then you can also find us anywhere that podcasts are found, the audio versions. So yeah, continue to help support the show, because in turn now you will literally be supporting professional wrestling. That is, and charity events, like Will said. So it's fucking awesome. We appreciate you guys. RN, anything going on with Mean Jelly Bean you want to catch us up with?
Yeah, we got a small album dropping August 22nd, Children of the Corn.
No shit, for real?
Yeah, we got Adam's actually going to be in Demolition Derby, so I'll be shooting some footage at that first time being a part of something like that. So yeah, we got some fun shit coming up for the summer.
For you guys who don't know what Mean Jelly Bean is, it's, if you've ever seen Step Brothers, it's essentially, you guys are like Prestige Worldwide with hip hop. And you have an album coming out, and for whatever fucking reason, Adam's in a Demolition Derby coming up too.
Yep. Him and his dad, like, he just reconnected with his real father after years of not really like being in each other's lives, and their first project together was making a fucking Demolition Derby car. So
fuck's sake, why didn't we talk about that tonight? Jesus Christ, man. Okay, anyways. Man, my life is boring now, hearing all this cool shit you guys got going on. Fuck, dude. Hey, listen, everybody. Thank y'all for joining the show, man. Until next time, y'all have a good one.
See y'all Sunday.
Later.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.